We're back with Eric. Today we're going to take a look at Eric's guard retention. That's actually something that I struggle with all the way to black belt. Having a good guard and retaining your guard when someone's coming forward, there's so many moving parts, especially when you try and learn how to do your guard. Oftentimes, people just teach you how to attack from the position. They don't teach you how to stop an opponent from effectively passing your guard. And a lot of the time, you can just feel like someone's actually just launched themselves past. So Eric, maybe just go bottom position. If you're supine, I want to see, Eric, what you're going to do. Just straight away, if I just take my hands into your shins. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, the main thing I'd say is that making sure your knees don't go too far from your chest. The more this happens, I mean, one, the more your core is being exhausted, and two, the more space between your knee and your chest is. I know you have pretty good Torino passing, you understand that. You're always trying to manipulate the space here, right? So as the defender, the more accurate you get with your feet positioning, the second I make engagements, the better. So the second I take my hands to your shins, what's your goal? Not even that. I mean, that's actually a good idea. Yeah. But in terms of your feet, what's the goal? Here? Yes, perfect. Now, even before I've engaged you, where are your legs going to be?
More like here, I would try.
No, definitely not. The one thing that's very important with retaining your guard in a supine position is that you have this adjacent leg positioning. And the reason is, and I'm sure you probably feel this when you're passing, is that when you have someone who's just got two legs down like this, boom, you just like absolutely launch them past, right? Yeah. So it's very important that one sole of your feet always faces towards me. Now, why wouldn't you go two soles? Because you're going to get stacked.
Push.
Okay, so one leg's going to stay coiled. Yeah, exactly. Now, when I try and make an engagement, one really good trick you can use here initially to stop me from being able to move your legs around is that when I put my hands on your legs, switching which one's high and which one's low. Great. That way, my full calibration is off. Remember, it's very important. Me, when I'm passing someone's guard in this position, I'm always thinking like, okay, I want to go that direction. Okay, I see his legs. I make a calibration here. Okay, I'm going to grab his legs and I'm going to go, right? But if, as that happens, this happens, something totally throws me off. Yeah. Okay, your leg's gone out of the way. So that's going to be really important. Your initial posture, before you even start retaining your guard, what's the initial posture you're going to take? Here, having one leg higher than the other and being ready to go. Now, you can either have your hands on the outside of your legs. That way you can frame off the ground, or you can have your hands ready to post. As I engage, boom, you're trying to get inside position on these legs. So as I try and move you around, you're going to use the shoelace on the inside of my forearm, but not like this, right? If this happens, I'm going to throw your legs by. Keep your knees to your chest. Now, as I try and move you around, take your feet on the inside of my forearms and just steer yourself. See how much stronger this is? It's actually 10 times better. Yep. So maybe if I go bottom position, you can feel the difference. I have good Torino passing. So when you're here, you make these engagements. Initially, I'll just switch them. Yep. Now, if I let you stuff my heels to my butt, here, see how my shoelaces are under your wrists? Yep. Now start cutting ankles, start passing. It's sort of easy, right? Yeah. Go again. This time I put my feet on the inside. Go ahead. Is that easy just for me to keep you in front of me? Yeah. This is going to be step one. Yeah. Before you even start entangling an opponent. Real quick, I've just opened up a school community. It's group orientated. There's going to be weekly lessons. We're doing group calls, and it's going to be a whole community vibe to make sure you're actually smashing your goals in jiu-jitsu and giving you something that makes you feel like you actually have a structure in your training. If that's something that interests you, hit up the caption. If it works for you, great. If not, you checked it out. So here, one, posture, initial posture, good. Now, if I start coming to an angle, you can switch them and make sure one sole of your foot always faces towards me. Yeah. What's my goal as the passer? Where do I want the sole of your foot? Right? It's pretty straightforward, right? But it's just it's a very funny concept because it's the second you start facing a sole of your foot towards me, it's going to be so much easier. The second I grab on, bang. Now you put feet on the inside of my forearms. Now you can just follow me as I go. That's so much better, man.
Should I do something with my hands or not really?
Definitely. So the key with the hands, as I'm cutting an angle on you, is to make sure this hand posts the bicep. Okay, this is pretty important because if you don't, what's usually the goal of someone passing? Before we even worry about the legs, the goal is often to connect my chest to your chest. Yep. Here. The closer I get to this position, the easier it's going to be for me to pass, right? So the second you see me coming too close to an angle, bicep post. Now, if I was here, would you bicep post me? Yep. No. You wouldn't do that because I'm too far away. You don't want to reach too much. If you start reaching for my bicep here, well, now I'm just going to lift your elbow, right, and just get out of the way. So once you understand what to do with the legs initially, you have to have a good plan once I start coming to an angle. There's this position here where I'm right in front of you, where you're going to pummel your feet on the inside and make sure my feet are in the way, bang, bang, bang. And then there's the angle, where let's say, for example, this is failing, and I come to the angle here. the first thing you want to make sure of is in the upper body, you have a bicep post. Okay, now in terms of your legs, how are you going to retain with your legs here?
Maybe here.
Yes, that's really good. And if I control this leg?
Using this one here.
Yeah, great. Once you've done this, what's the goal?
Like to curl one back.
Oh, don't put your foot in the ground, eh?
Because
There's too much space, right?
Yeah.
So here you post the bicep. Let's say your foot comes in front.
Yeah.
Use your legs off my body to square up. Good. Now, one thing that's going to be really important is that as you square up, you go straight into attacking. The biggest problem you're going to run into is that when someone comes passing your guard, they come to an angle, boom, you retain the guard and you square, they're over here now, and now things are getting really rough.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be important that when you're retaining your guard, one, I make sure my feet are inside and my hands can be outside my knees. Sometimes I'll use it just to pull them closer. As you come to an angle and things are getting bad, I thumb post, so try and pass my guard here, Eric. I could have two hands retaining, and once I have my legs pummeling on the inside, I can attach my knees behind your knees. Okay, it's gonna be massively important because if I don't do that, just do a classic one as I come to one side, just switch sides of me, Eric. And now this is getting really bad. Wow, I can feel that Mexican Toriano passing going down. So here, you come to an angle. I wanna make sure that I'm in this defensive cycle for a minimal amount of time. So I post your bicep, and then as I start trying to retain my guard, I'm just gonna take my feet, as long as you're not too far away from me, and attach my knees behind your knees. So now when you try and pull away from you, I can use this position, start making it like a earthquake, right? Yeah. So now have a go with that. I attach, I start coming to an angle, and it's difficult, right? Let's say I start beating this, boom, I punch inside, bang, come to an angle, you thumb post my bicep, if I'm coming low, the other one can go to my shoulder, other hand. So now nothing's happening good. Yeah. Now you use your legs to square up in front of me, put your knees, right, perfect. Now even without your hands, just use your feet, taking my knees in these directions. So I'm slightly getting off balance, and that'll let you go to Ashigarami, and now you can start counter-attacking. But it's really important that you want to find that as soon as possible. So here, I engage, feet in place. Dude, perfect. Nice. Go one more time. This time, let's take a look at that high leg. So right, you have a couple methods of retaining, right, when it comes to an angle. Is the low leg and the high leg. Okay, the low leg you're doing quite well. You're just going bang straight here. You can go to K-guard on this guy, you can use this to square up, whatever. If I'm controlling this leg, with the high leg, always go towards my thumb. So if you try and widen your leg out and pummel it, this way, it's not gonna work right, because my 4 fingers are there. Yep. Instead, pummel your foot inside to my bicep. And now use this bicep, as well as the bicep post here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and pass from here, and I just want you to square up. Ready, go. It's quite easy, right? Yeah, for sure. In a post, if I was here, go ahead. I'm going to easily get to the hip and knee post. Whereas if I pummel to my bicep here, boom, now go. I've got no time to beat the knee. Yep. So it's getting really easy to retain now. So one, you have the guy approach you, what's the posture you're going to take? Good, make sure your knees are close to your chest. If you want, you could, yeah, that's really good. If I engage you, you can switch your legs, make sure your feet stay on the inside. So as I try and pass, look how that now, walk my legs closer. Yeah. And then you can very easily attach to my legs now, tripod sweep, whatever it is. Right? Here you go, tripod sweep off this here, just grab, yeah, I mean, easy, right? That'll be like a free lunge. Now here, you got something a bit more engaging. I'm trying to move around here, good, good, good. Now, if I don't do anything here, you can just grab my wrist. Use with 2 hands. And just use that to pull yourself into like a K-guard on this side. Yeah, very nice. If I start cutting angles, go low leg, use that to square up in front of me and get your knees behind my...
If this one is like too high, you always go like...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because that is now inside position, right? If you're on the outside, it's going to be quite difficult. This foot, because your sole's facing towards me, remember the concept of the sole facing towards your opponent is massively important. So if you can face the sole, that's going to keep you in front of you.
And if this foot is like down, you can focus only on
then exactly, yes. Yeah, exactly, switching between the two. And now you can start using that to start posting my bicep, or you can even go to my ankle if it's close to you. Take your legs behind my legs, and now you can use that to start off balancing me and going straight to the legs. Nice, dude. Do you have any questions on any of that stuff?
When you like to go to seated position when you're retaining guard?
So seated, yeah, that's a good question actually. Seated position is always going to come up when your opponent, of course, isn't keeping you on your back. Yeah. A good opponent is going to try and keep you on their back by getting to angles, pushing your shoulders. Let's say, for example, I come to an angle, you thumb post my bicep, whatever, and then as you get your legs inside, getting towards my knees would be too far away. Yeah. When you feel like this is the case, just grab my wrist and then use this to get to a seated position.
You don't want to like sit without grips. Right?
Yeah, exactly. If you sit without grips, you're gonna get blasted, right? Just here, you're just gonna freaking fly through. So make sure you have a grip on a wrist as you go to sit up here. Yeah, that's very, very difficult for me to knee cut you. Nice, dude. Hopefully that little session with Eric helps you out a bit. I hope it helped Eric, but I hope it helps you as well. If this video was awesome, hit up the subscribe button. Of course, my school community, it's live, it's active. I'm sure you saw a little clip in the video. See you next time.